wonderful occasion to be here today, along with a wonderful panel here of people who've got different perspectives on how we can leverage the youth of our country. We have 30 minutes, so without much ado, I'm going to skip introductions. I'll just tell you a short maybe line about who they are. So, starting with Professor Kannan, he doesn't need an introduction. Many of you have already seen him. Rima, again, she's like the person who does everything here at MRP. Okay, and Arun Prakash from GUVI, he's the one who's done a lot of working with people using vernacular languages, and of course our friend who's been supporting us with the wheelchair for automation is here too, Swastik. So without much ado, I'll get started with maybe a question which I'll start with Rima. So Rima, could you tell us your opinions and ideas on what there is for India to leverage in the future? We have a large population of young people, and I think in some of the presentations that you've done before, we see that the most number of people in the category from 20 to 25. There's a large population, large segment of population in India in that category. How much time do we have to leverage that group, and can you describe the exact situation we are in and how we can leverage that segment of students in the 90 to 25 age group?
Thanks, Nano. I think major part of this question is just been addressed by Professor Ashok prior to this panel discussion. When we talk about youth and India, demographics numbers, 50% of our population is below 25 years of age. 65% of India's population is below 35 years of age. Half of India's population is within the working age group. Now, that's very strong. That makes us very powerful. Today, we proudly talk about different CEOs who are running global companies across the world. But interestingly, we don't talk about CTOs who are running different technological innovations across the world. Many of these companies are run by Indian CTOs and they don't come to the limelight. If you go out on a working day to the research park, and as you rightly said, most of the youngsters who work out from here are within the age group of say 20 to 25, maybe up to 26, 28, 29, not more than that. And they come from different institutes, Tier 1, Tier 2. They have got good education. The education foundation in India is strong. Everybody has got the basic education, and it has to be only nurtured from there to convert into the product and innovation. Importantly, all the youngsters in India today has a very progressive thought process, ideas, and has the hunger to prove and go out and do something over there. Most of our startups out from here, in incubation cell, you say Unifo, GUVI, two of our panel, GUVI and Swastik, or you say Ether or Medibody. Everybody were the college passed out when they started working on it. What do we need? Like today, we have the youngsters, like 1.5 million youngsters, engineering graduates, pass out every year. We have the startups who are doing good work, have proven and are there to can move forward. We have industry experts and we have academia, subject matter experts. In terms of, we have seen within IITM, breadth and width of the knowledge, whatever is required. Bang on, the recipe, everything is perfect. But as Professor Ashok said, what is missing is still we are dependent on many technologies, on many small components like our startups for small, minute components for manufacturing support are still dependent on the companies outside. So while they are working on the startups, but many attempts get blocked because they don't have those kind of inputs along with them to move forward fast. Yeah. So can we as an organization, here is my ask, can we leverage these youngsters to make these different technologies possible? Can we work along with them and make it happen all from India?
Okay, excellent. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about a little bit about what the innovation economy of India needs. So most of you would know that currently we are based on a service model. The country runs on the basic business model is arbitration of wages. So if you look at all the big companies, whoever it is, the business model basically boils down to arbitration of wages. That has brought us to the point we are today. But the next stage is innovation, where we can create things and put a price on what we want, as opposed to pushing low wages. So to make this happen, I have a question more for Arun. Countries like Japan, Korea, Germany, Sweden, Israel, Finland, all of them, they have something in common. And I think the key thing is they are all innovators in different fields. Germany for machinery, Swiss for Switzerland for different things. And all these countries have survived without basically using English as a native language. So from your perspective, Arun, what do you think we have in store in it for the people of India who speak different languages, and what do you think their future is?
Thank you, Ranu. Actually, to start with, I also believed like how others believe, talking in English is the only way to showcase your proficiency in anything. But later I understood that it is not, especially when I entered into coding. There I don't need to showcase my English skills, all I need to show is the output. Okay. When I started realizing that, I started understanding technology in my mother tongue, and also started teaching the same thing in the native language. It started from one of my physics professor. Okay, so I studied in government school, kind of it. So there he'll teach only in Tamil. Okay, though I was in English medium, he used to teach in, because he'll put both the classes together and close it off. That is how it is. But it was very, at the time I was little irritated. Now I understand, my basics are very strong because of that. For example, everybody knows Stark here. Okay, but when I say those are from Tamil, it is Tiruppu Visai. You don't need to explain now. Just the word and make you understand half of it. So that way, so your understanding becomes multifold when you do it in the vernacular way. That is where we started our thing. So we tested our thesis when I started teaching it. When I started a simple YouTube channel. Then we got guidance from professor, and then we got incubated here. So when I was doing in YouTube, I did it for my juniors who want to learn. I mean, at least 6 out of 60, 6 might learn. That was my expectation. But even that 6 didn't watch it as well at the time. Okay, but after a couple of months, I got 1 million hits. I was literally shocked. How come somebody can get 1 million hits by teaching something in native language, which is still Tamil? Okay, then when I started understanding the demographics, most of the audience came from US, UK, and Singapore. That was again shocker. Why somebody is there because they are decent in English. That's why they are surviving there. But why they came to native language to learn, having all the contents in Harvard and MIT, everything is there. What I understood is if you remove, while learning any technology, there are 2 parts to it. One is understanding the technology, and another is understanding the English. When you remove the one part from the equation, the learning becomes much faster. That is what I understood from all the people. And everybody did engineering here, like Professor said. So remove the top 100, remaining 400 colleges fall into this same bucket of what I am from. I am also from you guys. I am not from IIT, I am from a Tier 2 college. Okay. This validated when I met Muruga. Muruga is our current CTO. He is from Nagaguri, so which is a remote village from Swami Malai. Swami Malai is remotely from Kumbakonam, Tanjore. So these many references you have to tell to bring that guy into limelight. So this is the difference. When I started doing vernacular, I got connected with him, and then he became it, and we were able to make change to. Right now we have made reached around 20 lakh learners in our platform. So this impact we were able to do because we believed in the vernacular, and that made the difference. We have done only in one stream, which is IT. The same can be applied in all the streams, and the impact would be multifold. One of the examples is like 2 weeks back, one of the learners came and met me. So he learned our ESP32 course, and he has started a startup which is incubated in IIT Madras.
Excellent.
So that is the proof which at least I felt for what I have done it.
Yeah, excellent. So I'm sure our chief guest Sridhar Vembu would have more thought processes on those which we will grab after we finish the Q&A. So I think the next question I have is for Professor Kannan. So, based on this impossible to possible experiment that we did over the last 2 months, has your thinking changed on what is possible, what is impossible, and what are your thoughts on how young people think, and what about innovation, creativity? Can you cover those areas?
Okay. I think innovation, creativity, these are all much overused words in different contexts. What I found is that youth are basically clueless, but they're very open. And this openness means that their lack of prior knowledge in how to go about solving something is not an inhibitor. As long as one creates an atmosphere where one says it is okay to fail and learn from the failure, and the next time you do better, I think they'll quickly potter around, figure out different things, and come out on tops. They just need access to the material things which they play, as well as maybe access to some people whom they can look up to if they have some doubts. Otherwise, they can figure out everything. Important thing is we have in our education, failure is very much frowned upon. If that is removed, and starting from infancy, it's not possible for anyone to learn to walk or to cycle without falling a few times. So it's essential that we fail a few times. We just have to fail in non-fatal ways. But it is natural that we should fail, and we should give that opportunity. Then very rapidly people can pick up seemingly unrelated domains of knowledge compared to the background. I think Professor Jinwala was mentioning about people who learnt engineering, though their background is biochemical and things like that. I don't think these disciplines really matter because frankly, when I was a student, I found that I didn't know anything about what I'm supposed to be graduating in. And I probably knew more about some other things which I'm not trained in. We can pick up something if there is a need for, and we think that it is going to be an instrument in solving a problem. As long as there is a non-punitive atmosphere where we work in.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for your input, Kannan. I think I concur with a lot of what you say. I worked for a database company, SAP, which was called Sybase, which was called other things. And the person who designed the distributed database was actually a botany major. So he, there are a lot of books written about this person. He spent, the 10,000 hour deliberate practice. If you spend 10,000 hours deliberately practicing anything you want, you can actually become good at it. So it basically boils down to about 4 years of deliberate practice. You can become an expert in a violin, or you can become expert in anything you want, and I kind of agree with you that you need to pick up those skills and move on to the areas of interest. So I think the next question is a little more on technology and how we can leverage youth for that. So this question is for Chief from NeoMotion Swastik. So the thing is, I want to know from you on how we can leverage youngsters to compete in this global area where most of the stuff we get is from China, what are the changes that can be done to make sure we get everything here? You know, for example, you know, I spent about 2 months in Shenzhen, and I think that was the most interesting place that I've been to, because you have the whole place about, I don't know, about 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers is only electronics. There are just, you know, if you want to buy coils, there is a 10-story building, like our E block, only with coils. You want to buy, you know, LiDARs, there is a 5-story building, like our C block, only with LiDARs. So it was a fascinating place where they built up a lot of expertise in different things, and it's basically like a supermarket for buying things. So with that kind of scenario, how do we get all the components that you want? How do we build the intellectual capital to move things forward?
Sure, perfect. I mean, I'll try to answer this with an example from college days and try to relate with what's probably happening now. So, I think a lot of us who'd like to build things are makers. Back in our school days, we'd be struggling for various components, what to find. Those of you who have access to robotics lab or maybe in IIT, we had this place called Center for Innovation. What really was available over there is exactly like this marketplace or ecosystem where tools are available, space are available, components are available, where you're not spending a lot of time trying to figure out mundane and basic requirements. Those things are already there in place. And it's about you going and playing with them where we are making progress in maybe the area of work or the experiment or the project that you have started with. So for me, that was a big change. I mean, that kind of, there was a very pivotal moment where I got deep into hardware and design. As we started the company, and I think as others who would be doing hardware would realize this challenge as well, that if you go out, a lot of work actually goes into figuring out where to find the knowledge, the know-how, the vendor, the manufacturing, and so on. So for us, for our growth, it's an important activity to build that system, process, database. And we were doing product development also. To that extent, we also need to figure out where do we do our user trials. So for us, it's now keeping that repository ready, that if I have to do testing, I know 500 users pan-India across various diagnostics, across various gender, across various age group where I can go and try. If I have to do laser cutting, I know 20 odd vendors in China, and we have to build this. So if we have to take it to the next level, where we say that we have to build an ecosystem where innovation happens rapidly. Now we are doing it at a company level, but at a larger ecosystem. Can there be organization at a systemic level who build in this, maybe this open repository of information, that how do we take it forward? If you want subject matter expertise in building PCBs, can we have names of 20 people, 30 people available? And I'm sure there will be people who would be willing to spend their time voluntarily. So I think if we're able to bring together such a system, our initial transition, where we transition from the 0 to 1 stage, will be helpful. I think from there on, it's all right. I think once you get into volume, a lot of things become easier. The difficult part is getting from that 0 to 1 and 1 to 10. And at systemic level, if we can put together just these pieces of information and a set of volunteers who are willing to spend their time in the domain expert, I think we can go a long way.
Okay, excellent. So I think we've had different opinions on different aspects. I'd just like to ask each of them to summarize in maybe 1 or 2 sentences on what it means to empower youth. How do we empower them? What do we do? Starting with Reema. Just a sentence of what.
A very positive environment,
Uh-huh.
lot of inspiration, confidence,
Okay.
and give them the freedom whatever they want to do.
Excellent. Okay.
Well, I think I'll repeat what I earlier said, that We should feel free to make mistakes and fail, and not feel guilty or ashamed about it. That's the only thing that's needed, and then the people will take the initiative.
Okay. So give them the list of problem to solve. They'll solve it.
Okay.
I think all of us should experiment and figure out what really excites us. I think that that freedom of 3 to 4 years, maybe some time where we're just experimenting and figuring out what really kicks us and what excites us. And once you figure that out, I think from there you have that what do you call that flag post, that fundamental very clear to you, and then there is no shaking from there. And once you get that clarity, it's helpful. And to get that clarity, we definitely need to experiment. I think that has to be there.
Okay, excellent. So with that, I think we'll conclude the session. Thank you, sir, for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts. Thank you, Pete, for all of you.